Okay, so you talked about how back then, not having any hit records, you're putting stuff together. You're not sure if it's gonna be big or not.
Right.
But you now have 2 platinum songs under your belt. So when you make Bust a Move, did you think that this is the one?
No.
No.
When I make Bust a Move, I'm saying, okay, it's slower. It's not a rock beat. I don't have Tone's voice. It's a different cadence. There's a woman singing in the hook. The track is more R&B. Oh my God, I hope they'll hear it. I hope that people will listen. I hope I can sell a fraction of what Tone sold. I'm hoping I can get some of the exposure that Tone got. The one thing I will say is that I was able to watch Tone for over a year navigate having 2 massive, essentially multi-platinum records, crossover records based out of LA, coming out of the same label that I was on. So I was able to use that and say, okay, I can navigate my way if my records start to crack.
Well, in terms of the production, Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers played bass guitar on it.
Yeah.
He said he only got paid $200.
Yeah, I didn't even see Flea play. I wasn't there. Like Flea playing, Crystal Blake singing, I was not in the studio for that. I wasn't driving. So literally I was just driven to the studio for my sessions. I would do them and then go back to school. So all of that stuff was done outside of me. How they paid it, what they did. Red Hot Chili Peppers was a local band. So you had Fishbone, Mama Stud.
Yeah.
This is before.
This is before Blood Sugar Sex Magic.
Years before.
Yeah, threw him in the limelight.
Yeah. So he was like one of the hottest. He was the hottest bass player in any local band in LA.
Oh yeah, and you could really hear like the Red Hot Chili Peppers funkiness in that song. Like what he did on that bass was like, damn, like this is one of the greatest bass players ever.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely. So, I had nothing to do in terms of how the business went. I didn't get the greatest business at the time. You know what I mean? So, it was just one of those. It was just one of those things, that just kind of happened.
Well, Bust a Move comes out. And it hits number 7 on the Billboard.
Yes.
Not quite as good as the Tone Loc records, but still a big, being top 10 on Billboard Hot 100, especially the rap record.
Yeah.
Because back then, rap records were just sparsely every so often kind of.
Exactly. And especially pre-SoundScan. I just got to keep hammering that home. SoundScan, you can have a record label manipulate radio and sales and get a number 1 record on SoundScan on a record that doesn't deserve. You could name 100 records that have been higher than number 7 that aren't even close to Bust a Move in terms of their impact, but because of how SoundScan was and how that could be manipulated by anybody who's really trying to work a record, that kind of was what it was. So I didn't really pay attention to the chart position. I knew Tone was big. There were, not everybody had cable. Nobody had really internet, so you didn't have access to all the numbers. Mm-hmm. So going in back and doing a postmortem in hindsight wasn't really there. Tone had enough to get him on the road and get him working, and I had enough to get me on the road and get me working, and then the Grammy stuff came up, so I'm like, okay, I guess I'm doing all right.
Well, I think what really made that song was the music video. I remember watching that music video on Yo MTV Raps, and the girl with the black shorts with the stop signs on the shorts, she got me through a lot of a lot of lonely nights.
I remember, if I'm not mistaken, we had a 2-day shoot, and that was a big deal to get a 2-day shoot. We had Lou from Soul Train in there. Tracy Johns. There's a lot of well-known people that showed up for that video, and it was really the first thing that anybody had seen from me. So it was a cool experience. It was something I was proud to be part of. And as a lyricist, I felt that I put down something really impressive, or something that really showed my lyrical skill, that it's not just a regular pop record that anybody can do.
I mean, how did it feel to finally have a hit song yourself that you're rapping on, your name is on it, as opposed to just being a writer on someone else's song?
It felt good for me to have a hit record, but I have to reiterate, when Tone's records were blowing up, I was in class, so I'm trying to get my grades done. You know what I mean? I want to say the first summer after I got signed, I'm trying to think if it's 88. No, because I was doing shows. So that summer of 87, I was a bank teller at Chase in New York. So I'm going in like that, like, okay, maybe this music thing is going to be my summer job. So part of my summer job was writing for Tone. And then I'd go and do a couple shows, some local things, and then go do a couple regional things and try and make it happen. I remember I flew to Texas and did multiple shows in Houston, and that was the first time I'd ever seen condensation on the windows because it was so hot and the air conditioning so cold inside. So that was during the summer, so that's when I wasn't in class. So that kind of thing, and like I was able to get an apartment. They got me my first, off-campus apartment that or the first apartment that wasn't part of my campus situation. So those experiences, that was taking up more of my time rather than sitting and looking and saying, oh man, Tone's blowing up, what's gonna happen with me? I hope I can do what Tone did. I had no time to watch anybody's pockets or anything like that. I was literally just kind of wanting to finish school and then really dive headfirst into my music.
I remember watching MTV and they interviewed you. And it was a really quick kind of little soundbite. And I remember you said this, and back then, no internet, you don't know anything about artists,
sure,
as opposed to just hearing them do little interviews on MTV or maybe the radio. And you were like, yeah, before rap, I went to college and I made sure to get my degree, just in case this music thing doesn't work out, I got my degree to fall back on. But I know I'll never fall off because I'm on MTV right now.
Yeah.
Do you remember the whole thing?
I do vaguely. I mean, the first part for sure, and I could see me throwing in, won't fall off because I'm on MTV right now because that was a big deal.
Yeah, you were a big deal. Yeah,
it was a big deal in the moment. So, that was always been my approach. I have said before that having my degree gave me alternatives. Also, I knew that when I was sitting across from record executives, I was sitting across from someone who I was as educated as they were, so that helped. And also, when the money started coming in, they could pretty much be sure that I wasn't going to blow it. They could pretty much be sure that I'm going to do smart things with my money, so I'm never going to be in a position where I'm desperate. Oh, please take my publishing so I can pay my rent.
Yeah, I mean, this is important because I have a computer science degree from UC Berkeley. And for the longest time when I became a DJ, I was thinking, man, I wasted my time. I could have went straight into hip hop and I could be ahead, as some of these other guys at the DJ Clues or the K-Slaves that started as teenagers. But as life went on, I realized how much of an advantage that degree was. Because as I transitioned into Vlad TV, suddenly all that computer science knowledge went into the making of this company. Like Vlad TV is very much a technology company as well as a content company. And everything I learned in college and learning how to learn.
Right. I will tell you the most important thing that my college degree did for me, and I bet that your college degree did for you, is that it teaches you how to finish.
Yes. How to actually finish.
Exactly. Doesn't have to finish perfectly. Doesn't have to finish it. Just finish.
Yes.
Finish, get through it. You have all your arms and legs. Go on to the next thing.
Exactly.
Oh, it doesn't feel perfect. Doesn't matter. Finish.
Yeah, go on to the next thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that's true. I never thought about it that way, but you're right. College teaches you how to finish. And when you see a lot of people who they start and they always kind of trail off, a lot of them didn't go to college.
Unless you're a 4.0 student, all right? If you have a class and you know you're not going to get an A, you may not even know that you're going to get a B, but you know you got to finish to get to the next class.
Yes.
That's the experience that people that say, oh man, this doesn't feel perfect, I'm going to do something different. Oh, I'm going to go to community college for 6 months and then get out. And then you want to talk to somebody in your field and you say, oh, they have a 2-year project for me. I'll be able to finish it. Well, what happened in community college? That was a 2-year project. How'd that go?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That's how I look at it in terms of the music stuff. So me writing for Tone and then waiting, no problem. I got to, that felt like a B in a class. It's like, okay, tried my best. This is what, couldn't be the artist. All good. I'm watching, and Tone's my friend. I mean, Tone is my closest. Tone is like blood to me. Huh. You know what I mean? So watching his success even means more so to me now. But in the moment, I'm looking at it like I'm a part of this. So it may not be me as an artist, but let's see where this goes. Let me see what I can learn from it. Let me see how I can grow from it. So then me and my success and navigating that success, direct result of me watching Tone do his thing.
When you're actually blowing up with Bust a Move and you're doing KMEL Summer Jam and your music videos all over MTV, the radio's playing it, people are now seeing your face. Is the money coming in at this point?
No.
No.
Money's coming in. Money's coming in from shows.
Yeah.
Money's coming in from shows, but the vast majority of what my royalties should have been were supposedly in the pipeline, and I can't really go too far into that. It's NDAs and all that, and but I was not seeing from a record deal what one would think that. But once again, here's the thing, and I defend the situation this way. If you have a production company that's, let's say 120-day, 180-day wait for the artist to get paid from the production company. Then you have the independent label. Well, there's a wait between the independent label and the production company. Then the independent label gets to a major distributor. There's probably a 120 to 180-day wait between the money going from the distributor to the independent record label to the production company to the artist. So if my deal was initially with the production company, then I could be waiting a year and a half just based on the contract I signed. I may sign a contract that makes me wait 6 months, but if they sign 2 more contracts that makes them wait a year, then I'm waiting 18 months from when that record is sold to when I get my money. Not saying I wouldn't have still gone into litigation, but in hindsight, looking at it, to get that hustle from, Delicious Vinyl, Very White Music, all the way up to, Warner, Polygram, Island, and have that money filtered down. Who knows what business those guys are doing, the major distributors are doing with Delicious at the time. Now, it's personal to me, so it is what it is, but the advantage of having years to look back on it, it gives me a bit of perspective.